25, Unit 15 Number. Analysis. Why do we have the illusion that cramming for an exam is the best learning strategy? Because we are unable to differentiate between the various sections of our memory. Immediately after reading our textbook or our class notes, information is fully present in our mind. It sits in our conscious working memory, in an active form. We feel as if we know it, because it is present in our short-term storage space, but this short-term section has nothing to do with the long-term memory that we will need in order to recall the same information a few days later. After a few seconds or minutes, working memory already starts disappearing, and after a few days, the effect becomes enormous. Unless you retest your knowledge, memory vanishes. To get information into long-term memory, it is essential to study the material, then test yourself, rather than spend all your time studying. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 15 Number 01. Simply giving employees a sense of agency, a feeling that they are in control, that they have genuine decision-making authority, can radically increase how much energy and focus they bring to their jobs. One 2010 study at a manufacturing plant in Ohio, for instance, carefully examined assembly line workers who were empowered to make small decisions about their schedules and work environment. 2010. They designed their own uniforms and had authority over shifts while all the manufacturing processes and pay scales stayed the same. Within 2 months, productivity at the plant increased by 20%, with workers taking shorter breaks and making fewer mistakes. 20. Giving employees a sense of control improved how much self-discipline they brought to their jobs. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 15 Number 02. A group of psychologists studied individuals with severe mental illness who experienced weekly group music therapy, including singing familiar songs and composing original songs. The results showed that the group music therapy improved the quality of participants' life, with those participating in a greater number of sessions experiencing the greatest benefits. Focusing on singing, another group of psychologists reviewed articles on the efficacy of group singing as a mental health treatment for individuals living with a mental health condition in a community setting. The findings showed that, when people with mental health conditions participated in a choir, their mental health and well-being significantly improved. Group singing provided enjoyment, improved emotional states, developed a sense of belonging and enhanced self-confidence. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 15 Number 03. In statistics, the law of large numbers describes a situation where having more data is better for making predictions. According to it, the more often an experiment is conducted, the closer the average of the results can be expected to match the true state of the world. For instance, on your first encounter with the game of roulette, you may have beginner's luck after betting on 7. But the more often you repeat this bet, the closer the relative frequency of wins and losses is expected to approach the true chance of winning, meaning that your luck will at some point fade away. Similarly, car insurers collect large amounts of data to figure out the chances that drivers will cause accidents, depending on their age, region, or car brand. Both casinos and insurance industries rely on the law of large numbers to balance individual losses. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 15 Number 04. Sensory nerves have specialized endings in the tissues that pick up a particular sensation. If, for example, you step on a sharp object such as a pin, nerve endings in the skin will transmit the pain sensation up your leg, up and along the spinal cord to the brain. While the pain itself is unpleasant, it is in fact acting as a protective mechanism for the foot. Within the brain, nerves will connect to the area that controls speech, so that you may well shout ouch or something rather less polite. They will also connect to motor nerves that travel back down the spinal cord, and to the muscles in your leg that now contract quickly to lift your foot away from the painful object. Sensory and motor nerves control almost all functions in the body, from the beating of the heart to the movement of the gut, sweating, and just about everything else. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 15, Number 05. Although technology has the potential to increase productivity, it can also have a negative impact on productivity. For example, in many office environments, workers sit at desks with computers and have access to the internet. They are able to check their personal emails and use social media whenever they want to. This can stop them from doing their work and make them less productive. Introducing new technology can also have a negative impact on production when it causes a change to the production process or requires workers to learn a new system. Learning to use new technology can be time-consuming and stressful for workers, and this can cause a decline in productivity. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 15, Number 06. Whose story it is affects what the story is. Change the main character, and the focus of the story must also change. If we look at the events through another character's eyes, we will interpret them differently. We'll place our sympathies with someone new. When the conflict arises that is the heart of the story, we will be praying for a different outcome. Consider, for example, how the tale of Cinderella would shift if told from the viewpoint of an evil stepsister. Gone with the Wind is Scarlett O'Hara's story, but what if we were shown the same events from the viewpoint of Rhett Butler or Melanie Wilkes? Gone with the Wind, Scarlett O'Hara, Rhett Butler, Melanie Wilkes? MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 15, Number 07. Developing a personal engagement with poetry brings a number of benefits to you as an individual, in both a personal and a professional capacity. Writing poetry has been shown to have physical and mental benefits, with expressive writing found to improve immune system and lung function, diminish psychological distress, and enhance relationships. Poetry has long been used to aid different mental health needs, develop empathy, and reconsider our relationship with both natural and built environments. Poetry is also an incredibly effective way of actively targeting the cognitive development period, improving your productivity and scientific creativity in the process. In short, poetry has a lot to offer, if you give it the opportunity to do so. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 15, Number 08. The fast-paced evolution of information and communication technologies, ICTs, has radically transformed the dynamics and business models of the tourism and hospitality industry. ICTs. This leads to new levels/forms of competitiveness among service providers and transforms the customer experience through new services. Creating unique experiences and providing convenient services to customers leads to satisfaction and, eventually, customer loyalty to the service provider or brand, i.e., hotels. In particular, the most recent technological boost received by the tourism sector is represented by mobile applications. Indeed, empowering tourists with mobile access to services such as hotel reservations, airline ticketing, and recommendations for local attractions generates strong interest and considerable profits. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 15, Number 09. According to Marguerite Lacquez, fashion contributes to our lives and provides a medium for us to develop and exhibit important social virtues. Marguerite Lacquez. Fashion may be beautiful, innovative, and useful. We can display creativity and good taste in our fashion choices. And in dressing with taste and care, we represent both self-respect and a concern for the pleasure of others. There is no doubt that fashion can be a source of interest and pleasure which links us to each other. That is, fashion provides a sociable aspect along with opportunities to imagine oneself differently, to try on different identities. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 15, Number 10. Who hasn't used a cup of coffee to help themselves stay awake while studying? Mild stimulants commonly found in tea, coffee, or sodas possibly make you more attentive and, thus, better able to remember. However, you should know that stimulants are as likely to have negative effects on memory as they are to be beneficial. Even if they could improve performance at some level, the ideal doses are currently unknown. If you are wide awake and well rested, mild stimulation from caffeine can do little to further improve your memory performance. Indeed, if you have too much of a stimulant, you will become nervous, find it difficult to sleep, and your memory performance will suffer. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 15, Number 11. Internet activist Eli Pariser noticed how online search algorithms encourage our human tendency to grab hold of everything that confirms the beliefs we already hold, while quietly ignoring information that doesn't match those beliefs. Eli Pariser. We set up a so-called filter bubble around ourselves, where we are constantly exposed only to that material that we agree with. We are never challenged, never giving ourselves the opportunity to acknowledge the existence of diversity and difference. In the best case, we become naive and sheltered, and in the worst, we become radicalized with extreme views, unable to imagine life outside our particular bubble. The results are disastrous: intellectual isolation and the real distortion that comes with believing that the little world we create for ourselves is the world. MTC. Good job. Let's start. MTC 1, 2025, Unit 15, Number 12. The Zeigarnik effect is commonly referred to as the tendency of the subconscious mind to remind you of a task that is incomplete until that task is complete. Zeigarnik. Bluma Zeigarnik was a Lithuanian psychologist who wrote in the 1920s about the effects of leaving tasks incomplete. Bluma Zeigarnik 1920. She noticed the effect while watching waiters serve in a restaurant. The waiters would remember an order, however complicated, until the order was complete, but they would later find it difficult to remember the order. Zeigarnik did further studies giving both adults and children puzzles to complete, then interrupting them during some of the tasks. Zeigarnik. The results showed that both adults and children remembered the tasks that hadn't been completed because of the interruptions better than the ones that had been completed. MTC. Good job.